This is Sangy Davis. It's time for the lion to Ika. For unity is strength. Let us come together, my brethren and sisters, and forward to the motherland. Enough love. This is the lion's voice.
Haile.
Ja
Rastafari.
I'm Nana Farika. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the lion's voice.
On the question of racial discrimination, the Addis Ababa conference taught to those who will learn this further lesson that until the philosophy which holds one race superior
Alright, here we go. War.
and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, until there are no longer further.
And let's give the great Robert Nesta Marley credit for finding the speech, choosing this little section here. The way how he put this in the song, genius, you know?
Class and second-class citizens of any nature, that until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes, that until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race, that until that day, the dream of lasting peace and world citizenship and the rule of international morality will...
Hold on, I want to touch.
Are no longer first-class and second-class citizens of any nature, that until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes, that until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race, that until that day, the dream of lasting peace and world citizenship and the rule of international morality will remain but a fleeting illusion to be pursued but never attained. And until the ignoble and unhappy regimes that hold our brothers in Angola, in Mozambique and in South Africa in discredited and abandoned, until there are no longer first-class and second-class citizens of any nature, that until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes, that until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race, that until that day, the dream of lasting peace and world citizenship and the rule of international morality will remain but a fleeting illusion to be...
Alright, so sometimes we skip over these parts, but I want to pay close attention. The dream of lasting peace, world citizenship, the rule of international morality, these are the pillars of Zion on earth. This is the Rastafari mandate. This is what we are talking about. This is the goal that was articulated only, you know what I mean, by Kadamari Haile Selassie the first. In this way, you know what I mean, world citizenship, yeah, we fear the New World Order. That is evil. But there will come a time when the whole earth, you know what I mean, unite as one.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.
Come be a part of history and experience the sharing of wisdom from some of the most brilliant thought leaders in our community. Come see Muda Baruka, Styles P, Nori Muhammad, Lawrence Haja, Dr. Dorothy Holly, DEJAZMATCH Kwasi, Deborah Hines, and Midwife Asasia impart their wisdom at Groundings with My Brothers and Sisters, a holistic health conference. A plant-based breakfast and lunch are included. Looking forward to seeing you there.
Them could never conquer the mountains. Thousands of years and counting. Ethiopia rise again unto the world. Now we are announcing. Them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the base. When the trumpet sound and the violence cease, how we say one go build up the cities. Well, them a plan for war, We are plan for peace, and now we see him wanna go dismantle the beast. Rastafari crown as the Prince of Peace. Him tell the youths them fi build up them countries. Well, solar energy that them a see. The whole city powered by the sun's energy. The road them make out of hemp and concrete. Neighborhoods full of fruit trees that taste sweet. The youths put down them guns, them harvest and a reap. The beautiful gardens will line every street. Tired of the bloodshed, them done with the beef. Not even animals for dead, them burn out the meat. Where people say Haile Selassie, I see Nile. When they see say him a treat the dirt like a child. Peace and
Rastafari Mansion is an organization presents the first ratification anniversary, and this will be held on the 6th of October at the Louis Bennett Garden Theatre, 36 Hope Road, next door to Police Officers Club. Beginning at 12 noon and going on until 8 p.m. And it will be like a Harambe town hall reasoning on topics of, ratification, Holy Sacrament, indigenous rights, things that concern Rastafari people. And we'll have speakers like Dr. Kwame Knife, Sister Nani, Honorable Priest Lamont, and others as well. Yeah, and we'll have drumming and chanting from, School of Vision, Nyabingi, House of Siba, EADIC, which is the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress, aka Bobo Shanti. So make sure that you're there, come out and have your reasoning, and do what is right in Rastafari's sight, which is unite.
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of his chosen queen, EmpressMenen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka the DEJAZMATCH Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man, creative industry attorney. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of the Lion's Voice. Welcome to the Lion Voice, and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where the lions and the lionesses are telling our own story. Give thanks to everyone who has supported this platform. We are now over 8,000 strong in the Lion Pride. Some of us remember when we were under 100. Faith, perseverance, commitment, and our motto over here is that consistency beats perfection any day the strong. So before I go any further, I have to big up the Lion Pride. And if you subscribe, you are part of the Lion Pride, and we'll get into the breakdown a little further down in the housekeeping. Today's episode is about the UN speech, that famous speech that Bob Marley took and made war. Tomorrow will be the 51st anniversary of His Majesty's speech to the UN. And in light of what's happening globally, we are on the precipice of a nuclear war. We are already far into World War III, I would argue. The hot war between the major powers is not happening, but we're full into proxy wars and spiritual wars and information wars, and all these things are happening. The Armageddon is fully in swing, and the Gideon War, it's going. We just saw Iran launched, some reports say over 400. Mainstream media is reporting, close to 200 ballistic and hypersonic missiles to Israel. Israel is threatening to respond. America is sending soldiers to the Middle East. Russia is shipping in armaments to Iran. Something is taking place, and when we bring up these things, sometime within the Pan-African community, one will say, well, what about Congo? What about Sudan? What about Mali, Libya? Or you talk about them things, you talk about Iran, you talk about Ukraine and Russia and this and that and that. And I want to just say we have to be sensitive, of course, to the wars that are happening in Africa, because they are tragic. However, we also have to be truthful that most of these wars are symptomatic and part of this larger proxy war that are being funded by external sources. Very few of these wars are organic, in terms of their genesis, when we peel back the layers and we look at the root. So if we can solve our internal problems, then a lot of these wars will be minimized, because these are youths that are fighting these wars on the continent. This war in the Middle East, why we give it specific importance, is because of the fuel resources. The bulk of the fuel resources going to the major powers, China, United States, even though United States is doing a lot of domestic oil production right now, but a good deal of global oil production is coming out of this region. So when this region is inflamed and the Armageddon War takes place, the impact is going to be felt globally in terms of food and fuel prices and access. And these are things that topple society. When you go to the grocery store and the shelves are empty, or you can't put food on the table, crime, all of these things. So there is a huge effect. These wars in Africa, because of Europe's underdevelopment of Africa, a lot of times we don't, unless you're plugged in, you don't even know that these wars are happening. And they have been happening since the colonial era. These are vestiges. A lot of these wars are vestiges of that colonial time. We have work to do, but I know as Rastafari, we say on the day that Rastafari get ready, them have to move once I step in the diaspora fully with the resources and the planning. You're going to see a lot of these wars abate and stop, and also this Armageddon war, when it goes into full swing, a lot of the funders of these wars in Africa, they're going to be turning their attention to fund this war, and you're going to see these wars dry up, because again, a lot of them are not organic. We can get to peace, but people are funding these people to go and fight their brothers and fight their sisters. War is huge business right now on the face of the earth. And these were the things that His Majesty talks about. This brings us forward to topic of today. We're gonna you can see I'm on our StreamYard platform. Big up Lion Pride on Patreon. We're at 20 the Lion Pride on Patreon. I have a goal of 100 by the end of the year. We'll talk about that down further in the housekeeping. I have about 80 more to go to meet the goal by January morning. I don't want to do another episode on failure January morning. Please, family, join us in the Patreon, the economic engine. But I'm here on the StreamYard because we're going to watch the speech to the UN, or listen to the audio rather, and I'm going to stop and we're going to comment and reason. So we're going to try a different format this episode in terms of a reaction video style. Let me know if you love more, if you want more of this type of video in the comments. Lion Voice our show that we have very strong. We're gonna be experimenting, doing different things. This is the show we keep up to the time. We just dropped Lion Talk Harambe Hall episode with board members from the Rastafari Mansions and Organization. Massive event taking place tomorrow. There will be a reading of the excerpt of the UN speech at that event to commemorate 51st anniversary. We also have the crowning of the DEJAZMATCH Tafari as Negos October 7th. So a lot of things happening at this time of year. I just celebrated the Earth Strong. We just had one of my favorite episodes of Lion Talk Live featuring the Honorable Priest Kalish, Bingishan, and First Man, on the building of Zion, maintaining, cultivating, maintaining, operating, elevating Rastafari spaces. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. Again, one of my favorite. That was my Earth Strong present to myself. You know that this channel we're dealing with the building of Zion. While Babylon prepares for war, we are preparing for peace. We have to build the alternative. Them are plan for war, we are plan for peace. You know what I mean? And it's ultimately the peaceful that are going to dismantle the beast system, because if you don't have an alternative, then the system will continue. Because remember, this war machine is funded by money. People are prospering. You see the sufferation side of it, but the other side is that the weapons manufacturers, all of these other, the military industrial complex globally benefits from the slaughter. So this is what we now have to create: an economy of righteousness where people can prosper doing the right thing. This is heaven on earth. This is Zion. And it actually has an economic system, an ecosystem. And one of the things we want to do on this channel is talk about it, because a lot of time we don't talk about it. We talk about the past. We burn Babylon. We put our attention, and we know wherever you put your mind is what you're going to manifest. So if we don't put our mind on this Zion that we're trying to create, it will never manifest. We just keep on talking and dreaming. We have to reason about it, and this is the role of Rastafari independent, non-aligned media. So before we go into the UN speech, again, let me just big up the Lion Pride on Patreon. We are 8,000 strong plus now, 8,000 plus. We're doing about 1,000 every 7 days. We're even accelerating past that now. Africa, again, driving the growth. Big up my Kenya family, big up Libya, big up Uganda, big up Tanzania, big up Ghana. You know what I mean? All of my Africans. If you are from Africa, Ethiopia, we had a comment from Ethiopia. Drop a flag in the comments. I want to see my African family drop some flags in the comments, please, people. Don't make me feel lonely. We're here in the diaspora broadcasting, but this is about the connection. This is about the victory. Rastafari, we always stood for the victory. When Southern Africa was under apartheid, whose music was chanting for the victory? They say reggae music, but over here on Rastafari independent, non-aligned media, we know a Rastafari music. Reggae music by Rastafari was what liberated and what chanted the unity of Africa. Let's get this clear and let's get this straight. You know what I mean? So if you're on the African continent, drop a flag. Let us know where you're watching from. Big up all of the Lion Pride that has come in, 8,000 strong. We're going to change the world. Watch it right here, man. I tell you. Big up the Lion Pride on Patreon. We just had a new member, Empress Jennifer, came in at the $40 level. Bless up yourself, Royal Empress. It's starting to soak in, and you can come in as low as $5. You can do whatever is within your budget to do. I recommend the $10 level, because if we have an ecosystem with 1,000 people at the $10 level, I define that as a mature, sustainable ecosystem. You know what I mean? So if you can come in at the $10, we appreciate, love it. If you can only do $5, which is, you know, 1 cup of coffee if you're in America or the UK. And big up all of the Lion Pride on Patreon in the from the UK. Just had a Lion Pride on Patreon join from the UK. So wherever you are, you know what I mean, if you're in Europe, America, Canada, you know what I mean, we need this economic engine to fire. So please join us. If you love the content, you support, and I see by the comments that the item love the content, we have to fund it. No one is coming to save us. As you can see, this is war out there. So if we're not funding our own uprising, it's not going to happen. And independent, non-aligned media is crucial for the connective tissue to keep the audience informed, so we know what to support, we know who's doing what. We focus the energy, you know what I mean, of the collective on one thing, you know, one direction. Rastafari independent media, that's our job. As I just started saying, hold the line, you know what I mean. Our job is to hold the line, make sure that the liberty preserve and the positive parts, the elders and the youths, them balance, the brethren and the sistren, them balance. This is the job of Rastafari independent, non-aligned media and the Lion Voice Network. We are one of the premier platforms in the Rastafari space, the fastest growing platform on the planet when it comes on to Rastafari content. So, you know, join the economic engine. I'm encouraging the ones them to become part of the Lion Pride on Patreon. And that's picking up, and I give thanks. We're 1/5 of our goal, which is 100 people by January morning. So come in and let us make this work. We want this to be world-class in the quality. We're going to continue to invest in the platform. We want to travel. We want to hire editors so we can have more content, better quality content, all of these things. So that's going to come with the funding. We're also in the process of transitioning, so we're wanting to capture repatriation on the ground in Africa, different communities, and these things. So all of this need and require funding. And again, if you want to stay truly independent, it has to be audience funded. Yes, we can get the sponsors. As the subscribers go, the sponsors are going to come. But then when that sponsor decide he don't like what you say, don't write that check, you think pop down, drop a ground. We're trying to avoid that. We want to stay independent, free to block with sound, accountable only to the Lion Pride out there. So big up Lion Pride on Patreon. Big up the Action Lion Pride. If you drop a comment, you enter the Action Lion Pride. Big up. While we're here, I have to big up the comment that is strong right now.
Yes, family. This strong, we have Goldilocks. I don't know if it's a brethren or a sister. I do know a sister who goes by the name of Goldilocks. So, and I'm gonna have her on this platform, Elder Sister. So, I don't know who this is though, but big up. It did make me laugh when I read it. And Goldilocks said, as a watcher, me feel a way I get group with the people's eye, LOL, and laugh. And I laugh too. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about living, breathing ecosystem. We want to have a comment section full of joy and happiness and just good vibration. So big up Goldilocks. I responded, I said, welcome to the Action Lion Pride. We have work to do, family, no disrespect. And I think I wrote some other things, but you can go and watch that. I can't remember which video this is, but the comment section, we want the comment section of this platform to be vibrant, living, educational, humorous, entertaining, everything. So feel free just to join the Lion Pride. You don't know what to say, just drop a flag where you're from and the country, and just let us know you're checking in from wherever you're checking in. I love to get those messages. I just got a sister from Ethiopia checking in. I love to see where the Lion Pride is checking in from, because we are building a global platform. So again, big up Goldilocks, comment at the strong, and remember to write your comment, and maybe your comment will become the next comment of the strong. Sila.
Yes, mighty. So the brethren say, you know, in feel a way you get group up with the people that peeping Lion Pride. It not easy upon the peoples, but them dead it, you know what I mean? So we have to big them up, and again, if you comment, you like, you share, you're part of the Action Lion Pride, meaning you're not just passively watching the content, you're part of the movement, you're part of the action. So as the platform grows, it's not just I'm just the face right now of the platform, but there's a community of people that are pushing this platform forward, which is why you see the growth. And you know what I mean, the vibration, it's rising up the family globally, you know what I mean, in terms of I feeling good about I self, being able to see, because we're destroying the narrative that Rastafari not doing anything, Rastafari man is walkless. We you know what I mean, look how many family man we are interviewing, we are show you brethren where I live the creed, living up full, you know, upright Rastafari brethren and sisters. So you know what I mean, but that's the Action Lion Pride that's pushing this thing forward. And then we have the Watch and Peep Lion Pride. And let me break it down. The Watchers, you know, the Book of Enoch calls the angels the Watchers. You know what I mean? These are this can be anyone. You know what I mean? There are good angels, there are bad angels, risen angel, fallen angel, all of them things there. So Watchers, everybody starts as a watcher. You know, you see the content, you look, what is this brethren talking about? You know what I mean? That is natural. The peepers, though, the peepers are the people that are just there to see if the thing will go pop down. They're waiting to see you make a mistake, you see a fly. You hear what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Their whole intent is not good. You know what I mean? In America, they call them the haters. You know what I mean? In Jamaica, we call them bad mind. You know what I mean? Africa, I don't know what you call them, but we know you have a name. Drop it in the comments. What you call the peepers. But you know, I deal with the ecosystem model, and in the ecosystem, you take into account all the elements, and every ecosystem, once it's moving, it's functioning, it's healthy, it's gonna have the peepers. So big them up, because Rastafari vibration is positive. You know what I mean? Even in the ecosystem, you have the fungus. You know what I mean? Fungus out of control cause death and destruction. Fungus in a healthy ecosystem decompose things and put it into nutrients and bring it forward. Your peepers are gonna go out there, chat your name, but guess what? Some of the people that they chatting, they're gonna come and watch the platform of what you're doing, and you know, become watchers, and then become action, and then become Patreon. You know what I mean? So everything works together. So we big up the entire Lion Pride, because again, with the analytics and the technology we have, we can see the views far. You know, we're almost over 20,000 views for the month. So a lot more people are watching than subscribing, or you know, in the different categories. So big up everyone. Big up everyone. I remember when I'm talking about the Lion Pride, I'm talking about the 8,000 plus. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about, there's a lot more people who pass through, but I'm talking about the 8,000 plus, because when they subscribe, then they show that additional interest. They come within, they're officially a part of the ecosystem once they subscribe. You know, that's why I say, if you subscribe, you're part of the Lion Pride. So big up all of the Lion Pride. You know, say you see me sip from time to time. Big up Ras LIDJ, Romeo King Design. I have my tumbler right now. I'm drinking some peppermint tea. It keeps it warm throughout the entire broadcast. I don't know what is inside of this thing, or what it, you know, but it's a solid product. I'm testing it. I'm using it. I can testify. Big up yourself, Ras LIDJ. You saw the email. You can send your order via email. Beginning of all the episodes, Rastafari own business. We support it. Big up CMOS Life, Ras Wooley, big up yourself. Big up all of the ones them who are attending the Grounding with My Brothers and Sisters conference. I will be speaking at the Grounding with Our Brothers and Sisters conference October 13th. That's next strong. Lion Voice Network will be there. I just drop a exclusive interview with the founder, Junior, aka the Ballhead. It's up on the channel now, so check it out. I'll be there with books as well, so if you want an autographed copy of Haile Selassie's Ethiopia, you can get it there. We're going to try to see, what kind of content, if we can get any interviews, we'll be there on spot. So look out to see what comes out of the Grounding with Our Brothers and Sisters. And again, with the Lion Pride on Patreon, as we grow, as the economics stabilize for the platform, we're going to be doing a lot of traveling. Because I'm a frontline warrior, I like to be out there. Yes, we have the stationery in the gates and we bring the content, but we like to be out there too. You know what I mean? Because we're actually out doing the work. So I want to bring that to the platform so that the family can see, and all over the world. Going all over the world. So let us do that. All right. So housekeeping out of the way. We are going to look at Haile Selassie's speech to the UN. We are going to use the blessings that have been brought to us by the Lion Pride on Patreon. All right, so this is his mighty speech to the UN. I'm going to be stopping it and we're going to talk about it. You know what I mean? But we are listening to Haile Selassie speech to the UN. This is where war comes from, all of that. So we're going to listen and examine how up to the time it is right now with what's happening and why we have to get our act together, because there are some warnings in here. All right, let's go.
You'll get His Majesty completely alone on one channel and the UN translator alone on the other, and you can do whatever you want with it afterwards. So here is His Majesty's address to the United Nations General Assembly.
Mr. President, distinguished delegates, 27 years ago, as Emperor of Ethiopia, I mounted the rostrum in Geneva, Switzerland, to address to the League of Nations an appeal for relief from the destruction which had been unleashed against my defenseless nation by the fascist invader. I spoke then both to and for the conscience of the world. My words went unheeded, but history testifies to the accuracy of the warning that I gave in 1936. Today, I stand before the World Organization which has succeeded to the mantle discarded by its discredited predecessor. In this body is enshrined the principle of collective security.
Hold on, let me just stop it there. He's talking about the League of Nations, and for those who are unaware, if you haven't read his mighty speech to the League of Nations 1936, famous, where he says that apart from the kingdom of the Almighty, there is no nation greater than another nation. And then he says, God and history shall recall your judgment, the appeal. I, Haile Selassie, coming from the field of battle. It's one of the great speeches of human history. And then what was not in the speech, but what was uttered by him as he was leaving the podium, according to the oral history, is that he said it's us today, it'll be you tomorrow. And the very nations that conspired against him, which were Britain and France, the Laval Pact, which was a famous secret agreement where Britain and France came together to give Ethiopia over to Italy. And then this was before the German invasion. And in World War II, Paris was destroyed to rubble. London destroyed to rubble. German blitzkrieg, they bombed these places to rubble. So the two conspirators, you know what I mean? So the prophecy, this was one of the instances of real prophecy. So when His Majesty is standing amongst these leaders, this is what he's referring to. I spoke to the League of Nations. I'm the only leader that was there that cast the judgment, saw that judgment, that organization collapse. We built this one, and now I'm talking to the leaders of the world. Let's continue.
Which is unsuccessfully invoked at Geneva. Here in this assembly reposes the best, perhaps the last hope for the peaceful survival of mankind. In 1936, I declared that it wasn't the covenant of the League that was at stake, but international morality. Undertakings, I said then, are little worth if the will to keep
that term international morality, which is so lacking now, it was coined by His Majesty. I'm just giving the idea.
Them is lacking. The Charter of the United Nations expresses the noblest aspirations of man. The peaceful survival of mankind. ተስፋውን ያሳረፈበት ድርጅት አድርገን
In 1936,
I declared that it wasn't the covenant of the League that was at stake, but international morality. Undertakings, I said then, are little worth if the will to keep them is lacking. The Charter of the United Nations expresses the noblest aspirations of man. The application of force in the settlement of disputes between states. The assurance of human rights and fundamental freedoms for all, without distinction as to race, sex, language, or religion. The safeguarding of international peace and security. But these two, as were the phrases of the covenant, are only words. Their value depends wholly on our will to observe and honor them and give them content and meaning. The preservation of peace and the guaranteeing of man's basic freedoms and rights require courage and eternal vigilance. Courage to speak and act, and if necessary to suffer and die for truth and justice. Eternal vigilance that the least transgression of international morality shall not go undetected and unremedied. These lessons must be learned anew by each succeeding generation. And that generation is fortunate indeed, which learns from other than its own bitter experience. This organization and each of its members bear a crushing and awesome responsibility to absorb the wisdom of history and to apply it to the problems of the present in order that future generations may be born and live and die in peace. Should we fail to achieve this goal, we shall have condemned the coming generations to inherit the tragedy of our time.
በማስታወቅ መጪው ትውልድ በሰላም ለመኖር እንዲችል ለማድረግ ታላቅና ከባድ ኃላፊነት አለበት። ከእውቀትና ከተነገረ በኋላ እንዳይሰራበት ቢስተናከል መጪው ትውልድ መከራ ውስጥ እንዲገባ እንደፈረድንበት ይቆጠራል።
I have lived too long to cherish many illusions about the essential high-mindedness of men when brought into stark confrontation with the issue of control over their security and their property interests.
Okay, why is that relevant? If we look at the Russia-Ukraine, for example, Russia's invasion of Ukraine is completely against the UN Charter. However, NATO has been pushing up against Russia, and just like America would not allow Russia to have military presence in Mexico, Russia is not going to allow NATO to have a presence on its border in Ukraine, where all of the invasions of Russia have come through Ukraine. So His Majesty is saying the same thing. You know, he's lived too long to know that all of this great lofty vision in the UN Charter doesn't survive when people are dealing with their own security interests and their property rights, you know what I mean? Land and treasure. So again, this is why this is so prophetic, powerful. This is a speech every Rastafari brethren and sister needs to listen to at least once a year. Let's normalize making October 6th, the day when I and I come together collectively, seat up globally, and we just listen Kadamawi, make sure our children listen to it. I'm going to make my children listen to this, and this should be soaking our bones. All right, continue.
Not even now, when so much is at stake, would many nations willingly entrust their destinies to other hands. Yet, this is the ultimatum presented to us.
All right, ultimatum time now, you know. So this is what the question he's posing to creation.
Secure the conditions whereby men will entrust their security to a larger entity or risk annihilation.
So collective security, you know, the whole world come together and we decide what's happening, or annihilation. For the record, the world chose annihilation. We in that time. All right, let's
persuade men that their salvation rests with the subordination of national and local interests to the interests of mankind, or endanger man's future. These are the objectives, yesterday unattainable, today essential, which we must labor to achieve. Until this is accomplished, mankind's future remains hazardous, and permanent peace a matter for speculation. I would now like to mention briefly.
Hear that? Permanent peace a matter for speculation. So that's where we are right now. What we talking about, peace on earth, heaven on earth. You know, when we read the paper, we look at the news, that's not what's happening right now. War is spreading.
I would now like to mention briefly today two particular issues: disarmament and the establishment of true equality among men.
You hear that? Disarmament, the establishment of true equality among men. All right.
Disarmament has become the urgent imperative of our time. I do not say this because I believe that the absence of arms is tantamount to peace, or because I believe that bringing an end to the nuclear arms race automatically guarantees the peace, or because the elimination of nuclear warheads from the arsenals of the world will bring in its wake that change in attitude required for a peaceful settlement of disputes between nations. Disarmament is vital today because of the immense destructive capacity which men now possess.
All right, so he's not saying disarmament because he thinks that if you get rid of the nuclear bomb, then people are going to start resolving all the disputes peacefully. Clearly, we see that's not the case. But he's saying because of the destructive capacity that these munitions possess, this is why disarmament is so key. And if you look at the bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the nuclears what they have now are of a magnitude you know, sometimes 100 times more powerful than them bombs. And those were lightweight compared to what they have now, what they have manufactured now. So if any of this conflict rises to that, we really are going to have a post-apocalyptic parts of the earth, you know, where, you know, nothing can live or survive. So this is why disarmament is so crucial.
Ever since the Stone Age, the production of arms has always been a source of man's own destruction. Even though the achievement of general and complete disarmament is time-consuming, it is encouraging to note that great efforts are being devoted to attainment. My country supports the nuclear test ban treaty as a step towards this goal, even though it is only a partial step.
So when people are talking about politics, this is where Rastafari get our stances on the different issues. So every Rastafari brethren and sister should stand for disarmament. One, His Majesty said it right there. Every Rastafari brethren and sister should support a ban on nuclear weapons testing. Two, right there. So His Majesty is giving us the talking points then.
To peace. Or because that change in attitude required for a peaceful settlement of disputes between nations. Disarmament is vital today because of the immense destructive capacity which men now possess. Ever since the Stone Age, the production of arms has always been a source of man's own destruction. Even though the achievement of general and complete disarmament is time-consuming, it is encouraging to note that great efforts are being devoted to attainment. My country supports the nuclear test ban treaty as a step towards this goal, even though it is only a partial step. The real significance of the treaty is that it admits of a tacit stalemate between the nations which negotiated it, a stalemate which recognizes the blunt, unavoidable fact that none would emerge from the total destruction, which would be the lot of all in a nuclear war. A stalemate which affords us and the United Nations a breathing spell in which to act. The goal of the equality of man, which we seek, is the very antithesis of the exploitation of one people by another, about which the pages of history, and particularly those written about the African and Asian continents, speak at such length. Last May in Addis Ababa, there was convened a meeting of heads of African states and governments. In 3 days, the 32 nations were presented at that conference.
All right, so this is now we're getting into the war speech. And if you notice, and this, just to give some context, 1963, the visit of His Majesty, this was a very exalted visit, second largest ticker tape parade until that time, after the World War II homecoming parade. His Majesty received that when he went to New York, got out of his vehicle and walked a little way. Going to the UN, he was officially delivering the Charter of the United Nations, which, remember that the Charter of the Organization of African Unity, because remember that was signed May 25th of the same year, and then this is in October. So he's now telling them about the meeting that happened in Addis Ababa, the historic. He's coming with that. This is why he's the father of Africa, and there can be change because this cannot be replicated. He was chosen to represent this message to the world.
Demonstrated to the world that when the will and the determination exist, nations and peoples of various backgrounds can and will work together in unity to the achievement of common goals in the assurance of that equality and brotherhood which we desire. Although Our position vis-à-vis the power blocks is identified with the policy of non-alignment. Our past history testifies to the fact that we've always endeavored to cooperate with all nations without exception. Thus, one of the fundamental principles we have agreed upon at the Addis Ababa Summit Conference gives expression to our fundamental desire to live in harmony and cooperation with all states. On the question of racial discrimination, the Addis Ababa Conference taught to those who will learn this further lesson that until the philosophy which holds one race superior
All right, here we go. War.
and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, until there are no longer further.
And let's give the great Robert Nesta Marley credit for finding the speech, choosing this little section here. The way how he put this in the song, genius, you know.
Class and second-class citizens of any nature, that until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes, that until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race, that until that day, the dream of lasting peace and world citizenship and the rule of international morality will...
Hold on, I want to touch.
No longer first-class and second-class citizens of any nature, that until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes, that until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race, that until that day, the dream of lasting peace and world citizenship and the rule of international morality will remain but a fleeting illusion to be pursued but never attained. And until the ignoble and unhappy regimes that hold our brothers in Angola, in Mozambique and in South Africa in discredited and abandoned, until there are no longer first-class and second-class citizens of any nature, that until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes, that until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race, that until that day, the dream of lasting peace and world citizenship and the rule of international morality will remain but a fleeting illusion to be...
All right, so sometimes we skip over these parts, but I want to pay close attention. The dream of lasting peace, world citizenship, the rule of international morality, these are the pillars of Zion on earth. This is the Rastafari mandate. This is what we are talking about. This is the goal that was articulated only, you know what I mean, by Kadamari Haile Selassie the first. In this way, you know what I mean, world citizenship, yeah, we fear the New World Order. That is evil. But there will come a time when the whole earth, you know what I mean, unite as one. So that's what he's referring to, world citizenship. That means I can go anywhere on creation. It's peaceful, you know what I mean. And that day is coming because the youths them keep being born, and we know how the youths them feel about Rastafari. So, and Rastafari, the greatest thing about this liberty is that it's not a conversion liberty, meaning when we buck up a peaceful Muslim, we're not trying to convert him to Rastafari. Like, this is where a lot of conflict comes from. So we, the peaceful people from all of the different faiths, you know what I mean, can dwell together upon the earth. But one thing I will tell you, when the truth is out there, every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess that he is the highest. Haile Selassie will get the praises through the four corners of the earth. Why? It happened already, you know, when he walked the earth. So it will return to that, you know what I mean? But I want to just bring the attention to those things: lasting peace, world citizenship, the rule of international morality. So this is our goal in every work that we do.
Pursued but never attained. And until the ignoble and unhappy regimes that hold our brothers in Angola, in Mozambique and in South Africa in subhuman bondage have been toppled and destroyed.
And those regimes, for the most part, topple and destroy. There are vestiges, you know what I mean, economic vestiges, But again, this is His Majesty championing the cause of African liberation on the highest world stage.
Until bigotry and prejudice, malicious and inhuman self-interest have been replaced by understanding and tolerance and goodwill.
That was not in the war song. So listen that part there close again. Let me rewind that part there, because that is not in the war song.
The regimes that hold our brothers in Angola, in Mozambique and in South Africa in subhuman bondage have been toppled and destroyed. Until bigotry and prejudice, malicious and inhuman self-interest have been replaced by understanding and tolerance and goodwill, until all Africans stand up and speak as free human beings, equal in the eyes of all men, as they are in the eyes of heaven. Until that day, the African continent will not know peace. We Africans will fight if necessary, and we know that we shall win, as we are confident in the victory of good over evil.
Right, that's so. Right, that's so. All right.
The basis of racial discrimination and colonialism has been economic, and it is with economic weapons that these evils have been and can be overcome. In pursuance of resolutions,
you hear we talk about economics only on this channel. It's not because we're greedy. It's because we understand the role economic plays in liberation. And just say this is why we are kicking down false concepts on the Lion Voice Network. This thing that Rastafari don't deal with money. We are, money is just currencies, current, get things done. You power things through current. Currency is one, it's just overstanding the natural and the physical world. So of course we have to acquire money. It's a royal liberty. We need money to do things, to build schools, to build the hospitals, to build the health centers. You hear when we had the episode on the building of Zion, the three brethren that were maintaining spaces, them have staff, payroll. You have to be able to give competitive benefits. All of these things are people go somewhere else and do what's better for their family. It's reality time, people. All right.
Adopted at the Addis Ababa Summit Conference, African states have undertaken certain measures in the economic field, which, if adopted by all member states of the United Nations, would soon reduce intransigence to reason. I ask today for adherence to these measures by every nation represented here, which is truly devoted to the principles enshrined in the Charter. I do not believe that Portugal and South Africa are prepared to commit economic or physical suicide. If honorable...
No disrespect, we're Portugal there right now. After they got rid of their colonies. You hear about Portugal. Portugal legalized everything around their people. Them have 2 festivals and them are easy. But you don't hear about Portugal again as a world player. And they had to let go, and this is what's going to happen to Europe. We're saying that because Europe's wealth was pillaged. Europe is a nice, quaint place, but it's not no world power, in terms of resources, in terms of population size. So they need to just humble themselves and be, find their niche and hold a joy with the rest of the world, because there are aspects of European culture that are fascinating and we want to go see it, but don't try conquer our next people.
And reasonable alternatives exist. I believe that such alternatives can be found. We must act while we can, while the occasion exists, to exert those legitimate pressures available to us, lest time run out and resort be had to less happy means. The great nations of the world would do well to remember that in the modern age, even their own fate is not wholly in their hands. Peace requires the united efforts of us all. Who can foresee what spark might ignite the fuse?
You hear that? What spark can ignite the fuse? Right now, the world is holding its breath, because any spark right now could send this thing spiraling.
The stakes are identical for all of us. Life or death. We all wish to live. We all seek a world in which men are freed of the burdens of ignorance, poverty, hunger, and disease.
Again, Zion Imata about, a world where men are free from hunger, sickness, illness, and disease. I want the idea.
And we shall all be hard pressed to escape the deadly rain of nuclear fallout should catastrophe overtake us. The problems which confront us today are unprecedented. They have no counterpart in human experience. Men search, peruse the pages of history for solutions, for precedents. But alas, there are none to be found.
You hear that? And we're still in this time that he's talking about.
This then is the ultimate challenge. Where are we to look for our survival? For answers to questions which have never been asked before. We must look first to the Almighty God, who has raised man above the animals and endowed him with intelligence and reason. We must put our faith in him, that he will not desert
Put your faith in him.
us or permit us to destroy mankind which he created in his image.
This is why when we see all of this well gone, we still move forward, because we are putting our faith in the Most High, that America and Russia and China and all these powers with the nuclear, them and the Israel who move wild right now, not able to destroy humanity, that the Almighty restrain them, from even the ability to destroy humanity.
And we must look to ourselves, into the depths of our souls. We must become something we've never been, and for which our education and experience and environment have well prepared us.
He's talking about mindset. Big up Ija Star. He's talking about the mindset. So that's I and I have to go internal, and this is why the plan that we outlined for the Lion Pride to Victory, it starts with your mind, yourself. You have to go internal. So all Lion Pride, we're asking you start right there, so internal, and then you go family.
We must become bigger than we have ever been, more courageous, greater in spirit, ampler in outlook. We must become members of a new race, overcoming petty prejudice, owing our ultimate allegiance not to nations, but to our fellow men within the human community.
The voice of His Imperial Majesty speaking in October of 1963 to the United Nations General Assembly in New York.
Give thanks, give thanks. So you hear that speech again. Every Rastafari family, these are things we need to normalize. October 6th, I'm taking some time. I'm going to make my youths them sit down and listen to the speech on October 6th. October 6th, this year we have the RMO Harambe Hall anniversary event, Rastafari Unity Day. So make sure if you're in Jamaica, you head to the Louise Bennett Garden Theater, support the Unity. We're in the midst of a global war. We have to get our act together. Again, we have to go internal, then we have to go to family, then community. It's all the different levels. It starts with self, but collective security, we need each other. So support. It's time to rally. Big up all of the Lion Pride. Big up all of the family out there. It's been such a joy again. We just are passing 8,000 and we're climbing. We're continuing to climb and the comments are coming in. Please elevate yourself from being a watcher to Action Lion Pride. Big up the comment of the strong. You know what I mean? So that we can create a living, breathing ecosystem. You know, we want a comment section where people can learn, people can laugh. You know what I mean? Some of the great comment sections on the internet. We want the Lion Pride to be one of those comment sections that we talk about. And I know, because we have so many intelligent people in the Lion Pride, that we can do it. So please comment, like, share. Let us spread the message. Let us give thanks for LIDJ Tafari, born outside of the city of Harar, who will become His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie the First. Give thanks for October 6th. Give thanks for this speech. Unfortunately, the nations did not follow the ultimatum, and we stand on the precipice, praying that the spark does not ignite the destruction of a large part of the planet. I don't feel mankind have the power to destroy the whole earth. You know what I mean? However, there is danger that a large parts of the earth will be destroyed. This is missile warfare. If you look at the type of warfare, drone and missile warfare, if nuclear bombs are hit, there's going to be widespread catastrophe in certain places. And this is why I think it's nice to say Africa, Armageddon is past, because Africa is not one of the great powers. The strikes that are likely to happen on the US side and the European, Eurasian continent. You know what I mean? So, but it's serious right now, family. Really serious. We want to get ourselves together. Repatriation is a must. Big up to all of the family out there who are striving, elevating themselves, who are tightening up. Make sure you're storing food, water, and these things, because again, food and fuel prices will go up. Hard times ahead, but together we will conquer. We are no longer lambs to the slaughter. We are lions. And you know what that means? It means that the time has come for the lions and the lionesses to tell our own story. And this is the Lion's Voice.
Lion Voice. Them could never conquer the mountains. Thousands of years and counting. Ethiopia rise again unto the world. Now we are announcing. Them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the base. When the trumpet sound and the violence cease, how we say one go build up the cities. Well, them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the base. Rastafari crown as the Prince of Peace. Him tell the youths them fi build up them countries. Well, solar energy that them a see. The whole city powered by the sun's energy. The road them make out of hemp and concrete. Neighborhoods full of fruit trees that taste sweet. The youths put down them guns, them harvest and a reap. The beautiful gardens will line every street. Tired of the bloodshed, them done with the beef. Not even animals for that, them burn out the meat. Where people say Haile Selassie, I see Nile. When they see say him a treat the dirt like a child. Peace on earth from the banks of the Nile. That's why we giving thanks in style. See say Babylon a weapon, them a stockpile. Babylon a wicked, kill them brother and smile. Lion, Babylon a reptile. Them a plant fish, shed blood, we got plans for the soil. Them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the base. When the trumpet sound and the violence cease, how we say one go build up the cities. Well, them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the base. Rastafari crown as the Prince of Peace. Him tell the youths them fi build up them countries. No more gullies, proper sanitation. Proper toilets with proper filtration. Clean water for the youths them fi use. Our sons and daughters safe, no more child abuse. Africa arise, read it in the news. On the day when Rastafari ready, wicked have fi move. 3D printing alongside hem shoes. Herb get legalized, hard drugs them get refused. Well, people used to say they bring him man senile. True himself he tried it with man, woman and child. Himself peace on earth from the banks of the Nile. That's why we give him thanks in style. She say Babylon a weapon, them a stockpile. Babylon a wicked, kill them brother and smile. Lion, Babylon a reptile. Them a plans for shed blood, we have plans for the soil. Them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the beast. When the trumpet sound and the violence cease, how we say one go build up the cities. Them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the beast. Rastafari crown as the Prince of Peace. Him tell the youth them fi build up them countries. Babylon them got a plan for boots war. Without the meditation, well them now go reach far.